says Brian started recording. Okay,
That's what it
now it's
said.
recording.
Yo, thank you. Let's try it again.
Let's take it from the
Thank you
top.
so much. You
That's
the
cool.
man. You the man. Saved us. Okay, let's try it again. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the YanBar Podcast. My name is Bryan Barcelo, host of this episode. Today's guest, Camp Cleveland. Hey, what's good, man?
All is well. All is well. Thank you so much for allowing me on your platform. I truly appreciate you, King.
You're welcome, man. You're blessing us here, man. Hey, check this out. I saw your picture in front of the pyramid. Always wanted to go there. Been curious about them. Now, after seeing them and knowing about the history and so forth, could you answer this question for us? Were the pyramids constructed by relatively recent people, inhabitants like perhaps today, ancient civilization, long lost and forgotten about perhaps, or was it aliens that put this together, put the pyramids together?
Well, I say this. It's seven wonders of the ancient world, and the Pyramids of Giza is the only one that still exists, the only one that you can go see today. So the other six were either fairy tales, or they were destroyed, or we don't know what happened to them. So I've been to Egypt almost maybe 10 times already. I take groups to Egypt. So the Pyramids of Giza is like one of the number one attractions in the world. So when you go to Egypt and you get to go inside of these tombs and these temples and these pyramids, you know, they're very artistic, and they depict the people of that time. You know what I'm saying? So the Pyramid of Giza is the perfect pyramid, but we take people to go see the beginning pyramid. So they have the mound, then they have the step pyramid, and they have the bent pyramid. So you can see the progression. You can see where they made errors until they got it right. So to my understanding, these pyramids were built by free Africans, ancient Africans. You know, a lot of times people say maybe, well, slaves built them or this or that, but the people that built the pyramids, they were free people. They were educated people. You know what I'm saying? So,
And they were Africans who constructed it.
yeah, definitely. I mean, because when you go inside, you see the people with dark skin, you see the people with afros, you see braids. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Now, I admit and stuff. I'm slightly embarrassed. Didn't get to do enough research as I want. One thing I like, I gotta go back to your website because I saw some items I want to pick up.
okay.
If I'm not certain, that was it was Afro.net. Was it? That
They
one
could go
of,
to campcleveland.org or afroset.net. It'll take you to the same website.
Oh, I see. Yeah, a lot of nice items on there. Got to make sure I put the link up there for them and
Oh,
stuff. Now, I
thank you.
see.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, I see. Well versed. In a lot of subjects, man. I thought I was crazy like that, man. But yeah, you see, if you don't mind, run people down on your pedigree. Let them know all these things you have going on.
Okay, yeah. I'm a world traveler. I visited about 70 countries around the world. I'm a historian. I'm an author. You know, I wrote in encyclopedias. I wrote my first book. I wrote, you know, a couple college newspaper articles and things like that. I'm a musician. I'm a hip hop artist. I'm an MC. You know, so that's a little bit about me.
A little bit. Wow, man, that's enough. Now, hey, check this out. Not certain where to touch on because I'm fond of all that stuff. You know, I do music, love history, just about everything. Where would you like to start off with this? Because you know yourself better and stuff and know what you want to say and what you want to get out to
Right.
people. So, yeah, you take off what you want to start with first and we can go from there.
I mean, we could talk about Africa first since we already went there. I
All
do
right.
educational tours, like I mentioned. So I take groups of African Americans and I take them to Africa, you know, to clear up a lot of misconceptions that we may have about the continent or African people. Like you say about the pyramids, a lot of people, they really don't know what ancient Egyptians look like or if they built anything significant. You know, so those things are very important. We go to Ghana, we take people to Ghana, Senegal, Cape Verde, South Africa, Ethiopia, Egypt, Kenya. I plan on adding more tours. We're going to do Tanzania next year. So I've been to about maybe 20 African countries.
Wow, incredible. And where are you originally from?
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah.
Really from yeah, Cleveland. How Camp Cleveland, how did you wind up getting involved in this overseas and tourism and all that stuff? I mean, how does that happen for a person in Cleveland?
Okay. I think it started for me at a young age. My mom, she used to drive the Greyhound. So she would take us to little trips like New York, Chicago, Cincinnati,
Mm-hmm.
places around the way, Detroit. And she would try to organize tours and stuff and take her friends and families to different cities and things like that. So when I got older, I continued to travel on my own. You know what I'm saying? So traveling is something I love to do. I like learning new languages, meeting new people, trying new foods. I'm a historian, so I'm always up for going to museums and
Right.
historic sites and things like that.
That's right. And you say you speak how many languages do you speak? And these fluent languages?
No, no,
Like
I ain't
speaking
fluent. I just pick up a little bit as I go. But right
yeah.
now about four. But I'm trying to get more. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. That was the thing about kind of like my Spanish that I know. It's limited to work. Like
Mhm.
clavo, snail, madera, wood. That's about it. Building houses, so everything's related to
Oh, okay,
work.
right, right. That's how it be sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, check this out. Back to the pyramids. We're like really stuck on pyramids. And back in the 70s, I was reading about how they were talking about how pyramids shaping with sharpened razor blades and stuff like that. I'm not that
Wow.
far going though. But what I am curious about is the construction techniques. Whether or not they were able to construct those structures using copper. The tools that they had back then, because copper is relatively soft metal, and that rock they was digging into, I think, granite or something, and that's like one of the hardest stones. So they really use
Yeah.
copper tools.
Well, it's a lot of theories on how they built them. It's not no one.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody really knows how they built it, and that's
Right.
what makes it so like amazing because they didn't
Yeah.
have the technology that we have, or
Hmm.
so we think. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Ain't no telling because them blocks is real big. They like a couple tons. So who knows how they even moved one of them, let alone millions of
Exactly. As a matter of fact, I forgot the time that it was said. This is millions of stones, and they said you basically had to move a stone every second or something, or every minute. That's what they were calculating. And then I checked out some other theories where one person was saying it may be a form of concrete. You ever hear that one?
Nah, man, it's a lot of them out there. And I'm not
Oh,
saying I'm I'm not saying I'm right or I know everything
right,
about it,
right.
but I could
Hmm.
just tell you from experience and what the
Hmm.
people look like and things like that. So,
Right. Okay. Yeah, move on after that. Now I seen one of the photographs and stuff from looks like a classroom setting. Is that one of the classrooms where you at?
oh, you some I
Yeah,
think you
seeing
may be
kids and they got
referring
their hands up and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah, I think you may be referring to it's an elementary school in Cape Verde. Cape Verde is on the west coast of Africa. It's like 10 islands. They were volcanoes, but they're what is the word? They're dormant or but they
Thank goodness.
beautiful islands,
Yeah.
beautiful water, beautiful beaches, beautiful people. The
Hmm.
food is great. So every time I take a group to Cape Verde, we go to Salina, and it's an area we work with the elementary school and the recreation center. So we buy school supplies. We donate money, we donate food, and different things like that. Last year we were supposed to do like a recording studio. We're gonna make like a makeshift recording studio, but COVID happened. So maybe this year or next year, we can go back up to the recreation center and do that.
That's what's up. Now I know you said I had asked you before, how does a man from Cleveland become like an international jet setter, so to speak?
Right,
And I
right.
know you mentioned that I think you said mom was a bus driver or something like that.
Yeah, that's where it started for me.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm still not clear. How did that lead to that? One lead to the other.
Well, once I got older to travel on my own or travel with my friends, we kept going to different cities. So I was a musician. I'm a musician. So we would take trips to Chicago and Detroit. We would do shows. We go to Indiana, Kentucky, then we start going further. We go to Atlanta. We go to Tennessee. And after a while, I started. We would take road trips. We would take the bus. Sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
after I had reached like 45 states, I went and got me a passport so I could take it to the next
Right.
level.
Damn it, Cleveland. If possible, I'm sure you would reach your hands through. I mean, I'm sorry, can't believe reach your hands through these screens and choke me. I just seen the cable guy coming up the stairs.
Oh no, no, it's no problem.
I'm like, oh no.
But it's a good introduction, so we could, however you want to do it, we could come back another day or save it or whatever you want to do.
Okay. Yeah. Then we'll do that. One moment, please. Yeah. Dan, I am so sorry, man. I'm hoping we can get through this.
Oh no, it's all
What's your
good.
schedule like tomorrow?
I should be free. Just let me know.
All right. If same time, if you like, if you can.
Cool, cool.
1 p.m.
Yep, just message me on Facebook.
All right, I do that.
All right,
Okay,
all
Cleveland, I appreciate you, man. Once again, I apologize.
right. No problem. Peace.
All right, peace. Now, I owe you an apology. I found myself apologizing a lot to you as of late. When I looked at the video footage, which I loved, by the way, but I didn't want something to be misconstrued. When I asked you about how did you get into, becoming like what I call it, a jet setter, so to speak, and then he says from Cleveland. I'm like, Cleveland? Now, not the little Cleveland, fine place, fine city. What I'm saying, like, just for me from Albany, the way I grew up in the hood, there's just no way for me to become a jet setter, so to speak. Those things just aren't there. You don't run into people like that. And I don't know where you're from. I don't know what your upbringing was like. But if it's anything like mine, that's what I'm saying. How? So when I heard you say Cleveland, I thought maybe you were an exchange student. You grew up overseas, got adopted or something, you know what I'm saying? So that's
Mhm.
why I found, kind of like Cleveland, how? So anyway and stuff. But yeah, would you speak more to about how you actually got yourself in a position where you could do something like that, travel to all these different countries?
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know if we talked about it on the last interview. My mom, she used to drive the Greyhound, so she would take us on trips to like Chicago, New York, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, places within driving distance. So that's where I got my first experiences traveling. That's where I developed the love for traveling. As an adult, I continued to travel. I was a musician. So, at that time we would make music, mixtapes, we would record them, and then we would take our music to different cities. So I would take myself, I would drive to Detroit, I would drive to Atlanta, I would drive to Kentucky and Indianapolis, and we would sell our music out the trunk of our cars like that, and I began traveling with my friends. We would do little shows and things like that, hip hop shows. And, after a while, I wanted to go to different places. So I would go to California, I would go to Florida, I would go to New York, and then once I had seen all of the states, I seen about 40 45 states. I got my passport. So in 2010 is when I got my first passport. That's when I first went to my first country. The first place I went was Amsterdam. I knew some people out there. They were from South America, but they migrated to Amsterdam. They were Black South Americans, and I was able to record some music out there. They showed me around, showed me hospitality and love, and I had such a great time. I wanted to continue to travel.
Now, you had preconceived ideas about how going overseas may be. I know growing up in America, we kind of feel a certain way with things we taught here and, that we hear about overseas. Like, how about, did it meet your expectations or did it exceed your expectations or wasn't the way you thought about it? What was the experience when you first saw it?
I mean, I was like everybody else because back then there wasn't as much available content on different places around the world in 2010. You know what I'm saying? So traveling to another country was more looked at like a dangerous experience. You got these movies like Taken, Hostel, all these horror movies when people go to different countries. But the truth is, there are dozens of countries that are far safer than the United States. Less
Oh.
gun violence, less mass shootings, lower crime rate, better quality of life. And Amsterdam is definitely one of those places that has a much, much lower crime rate. It's one of those places where even all of the police don't even carry guns. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? They have the coffee shops. So marijuana has been legal for decades there. You know what I'm saying? They have the red light district. So prostitution has been legal for decades there. So, just an abundance of crime, is almost non-existent. I'm not saying things don't go wrong,
Right.
but in comparison to a place like Cleveland or New York or Detroit or Chicago with hundreds of people getting murdered and shot down, even with the police brutality, police killing unarmed people, you know what I'm saying? Because every police officer doesn't even carry a gun. So that, would be less likely to happen. So
Exactly and stuff. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I never wanted to go to well, I mean, I want to go, but to Egypt. See, matter of fact, especially about a year or so ago, I saw, I think there was going some kind of internal strife there. I don't recall what it was, but it was like a hotbed, like violence or something was going over there. But I always wanted to go. And then I see the videos where, beheading videos and stuff. Sure, not the same
Mhm.
area, but, I see those things. And I'm like, no, I think I'll stay right here in America and stuff, man. But it's cool that you went over there. Now, there's a question. I was checking out your videos, music videos. And when we first spoke, in the brief introduction, didn't get a chance to get to your music. So I was checking out your music video, and I said, "Wow, that is the age-old question. Do revolutionaries go to heaven?"
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a song that I wrote, recorded. We shot the video in South Africa. In 2020, I was living in South Africa. I had an apartment in Johannesburg. I stayed in a neighborhood called Mabo Nang. So it's an art district. It's a lot of poets, musicians, writers, dancers, drummers, photographers, painters, all of these creative people. They come to this neighborhood and they showcase their talents. It's a very artistic place. It's a lot of paintings of great Black people like Marcus Garvey, Nelson Mandela, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Assata Shakur, and different things like that. So each day, although the world was locked down, when I would go for my walks and go back and forth to the grocery store, I was able to look at these murals of these great men and women, and that's something that kept my spirits uplifted. And I was at an advantage because the neighborhood that I stayed in, the apartment building I stayed in, there were several music studios, there were several producers and singers and writers and photographers. So I was, like I said, I was still able to perform my music. So that's something that really uplifted my spirits. So the song was influenced, by the murals in the community. So, I just wanted to put it out there at that time because so many people were dying. We didn't really know what was going on, as far as the world was concerned. So,
Right. Yeah, I understand completely. This good stuff. Let's see. I just noticed something. Just out the way. Um, so the answer to that question, the revolutionaries go to heaven?
are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope so. You know what I'm saying? Definitely
Yeah.
hope so.
Yeah.
Because they're fighting for a worthy cause. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They're fighting for freedom. What greater, what I'm saying, cause can you live and die for it?
Right. Yeah. And speaking of music videos and stuff, I was like super impressed, man. Another thing, God, I don't know if you ever seen any of mine. Um,
I'm gonna have to
but the
check you out.
music, the music videos you make, they're very, very nice and stuff. Who produces the music and who makes the videos and all that?
I work with different people. A lot of times I shoot music videos in different countries. So I have friends and photographers in different countries that I work with. So it would depend on the video. The guy that shot the video, "Do Revolutionaries Go to Heaven," was my friend Israel. So he put that together for me.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah, I like that one. I can't recall the name. I think it was I think it was a bar or cafe.
Oh,
Um,
okay. You talking
oh,
about the blacker the berry?
yes, yes, Black of the Berry. Excellent video.
Hmm.
Like that one too. You know,
Hmm.
I saw one thing in your list. Of accomplishments. It said archivist. Now, at
Hmm.
first, when I saw that, I was thinking, maybe that's a typo. Maybe it meant activist. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, right, I went and looked it up and stuff. I said I want to appear any more stupid than what I look and stuff, right? So I said, let me
Hmm.
go online and find out, is there such thing as an archivist? And I learned that there is. Now, what were you archiving, like historical documents or something, or um, relics, artifacts?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely an archivist. I don't know if we talked about it or not. I wrote a book called The Afro Set, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a historian as well. So over the years, I've collected a significant amount of archive footage, archive photos, archive documents, and newspaper articles and things primarily pertaining to my book, interviewing people and collecting things that people have given me that were around from that time period. So a lot of these videos people haven't seen since the 1960s. A lot of these pictures people haven't seen since the 1960s. So
Now, why? is that? How come people haven't been seeing these pictures?
Well,
Uh
that kind of
oh.
ties into well, no, it's all good. That kind of ties into the book. So basically, I wrote a book called The Afro Set. So
Hmm.
it's an unsung story. It's a story that many people don't know about.
Hmm.
So they're not really familiar with the story of the Afro Set. So that's one of the significant reasons why I wrote it. My uncle was a co-founder of the Afro Set. My mom's brother founded the Afro Set in the 1960s. This was during the Black Power movement. So Afro was short for African. So his group, they was at the forefront of bringing African history, African culture, African language, African music, African fashion to the city of Cleveland. They also practiced self-defense. So they did a lot of military drills. They trained with rifles, handguns, machetes, sticks. They did physical combat. They had a lot of social programs. They had the breakfast programs, the lunch programs. They opened up a nursery school. They opened up a theater. They would do fashion shows. They would do poetry readings, musical performances. They had classrooms. They would teach African language, Swahili. They would do pottery. They would talk about economics, sickle cell, diabetes, things like that. It was a very educational organization. It was more family orientated. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that joined were brothers and sisters or cousins or neighbors. Some people met in the Afro set and they got married and they had children and babies were born into the organization. So,
That's what's up. It seemed like draw comparisons, but when I hear about an organization like that, it reminded me of the Panthers. Not saying they're similar in any way. I'm just, the thing with the community and teaching and so forth and stuff. I like that. And now, is the Afro set still going on to this day?
no, no, they suffered the same fate as the Panthers, infiltration, the FBI, COINTELPRO, a lot of those things, dismantled.
Wow. Seems like I don't know. I don't know if I want to go down there, but I'm just saying, it seems like somebody don't want positive things happening in the hood. It just seemed that way. I don't know. Anyhow and stuff. What other books have you written?
This is my first book. I've written in
Mm-hmm.
I wrote an article in the Black Power Encyclopedia
Mm-hmm.
about the Afro set, and
Mm-hmm.
I wrote some articles in like college newspapers and local newspapers and things like that. But this is my first in-depth book. I did over 100 interviews. You know what I'm saying? Writing this book, I spent 5 years writing this book, so I did a lot of
Wow.
research, on this specific subject.
What's the most interesting artifact that you've come across? You would say.
Um, I would say the video footage. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to watch the city of Cleveland in the 1960s, especially during the Black Power movement, video footage of my
Mm-hmm.
uncle speaking and talking, you know what I'm saying, things like that, watching them do dances and perform and drumming, African drumming. It was very interesting to see those things because, like I said, most of this stuff people haven't seen since the 60s. Nobody has came to request it. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully my next goal is to make it into a documentary. So I'll take the archive footage, I'll take the interviews that I've conducted, the newspaper articles, the
Mm-hmm.
FBI files, the pictures, and then I could put it together because it's kind of different between reading the book. Like say if you read the book, you look at the pictures, a lot of the people they may be in their 20s, they may be teenagers, they may be young adults. But then when you watch the interview, you will see some of the same people when they're in their 80s and their 70s. They're a lot, oh, they're grandparents now, and they can tell their story and you can hear their voice and stuff.
Yeah, no, I understand. So, matter of fact, today I had to go do some things uptown, so I took a walk, not too far away, and I went past the senior citizen building, and the people I seen sitting out there, I was like, wow, I went to school with these guys. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
damn. Yeah, I was like, oh
Wow.
god. Yeah, because you didn't see a sitting. Those guys sitting out here. So what am I talking about? I went to school with these guys. I'm like, damn. So I know what you're talking about, man. The years and how they go by, and you see people, I guess, in their youth, and now here's the thing about it. I think it's easy to be I think they call it ideological, like when like you're in your youth, And it
Mhm.
seems like something happens to people as they, they get older and stuff. They seem to not be so I don't know, rebellious or something, or hell bent on changing the world. You see the people that were involved with those things, the ones that are still around, are they still pretty much the same in their opinions and the things they do, or have they kind of chilled out or mellowed over the years, so to speak?
It depends, man. Believe it or not, some of them is still active. Some of them are still on the front line. Some of them still protesting. Some of them still giving back to the community and still helping out. And then, like you say, some people they have chilled out because they grandparents now, they great grandparents now. So
Yeah.
it would depend on the person. So
Hmm.
because some people I went to their house, they still got the red, black, and green up. They still, with it like that. And then some people they like
Right.
different. They totally different now. So
Yeah. Just talking to a whole bunch of people about the black condition, so to speak. And nowadays, do you see yourself carrying carrying on that torch, so to speak, has it been passed on to you, going in the footsteps with those guys from the '60s, or how you set with these nowadays?
I mean, it's definitely motivating, and I try to
Mm-hmm.
do my best to try to apply the things that I have learned and use my history to an advantage. I try to do things for the community, but when I speak about the Black community, I look at it from a global perspective. It's Black people in Africa, South
Oh,
America, the Philippines, India. Mexico is Black people, so there's
yeah.
Black people all over the world, and I
Mm-hmm.
try to give back. I volunteered at orphanages and community centers, and I done all type of things like that. I co-founded a food co-op. It's called Little Africa. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So different things like that. I just try to keep myself active and, also continue to post positive and
mm,
informative content. Like I say, when I first started traveling, if you Googled anything about Africa or tried to find videos of Africa, there was always negative violence, death, disease, murder.
mm,
But like I
yeah.
say, by me getting to go and film for myself, I could share these experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So I do group tours. I take African Americans to different countries in Africa. So I've taken groups to Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
Senegal, Egypt. We go to South Africa, Kenya, different places like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, wasn't there a place set up in Africa, I think, for freed black slaves from here in America? I don't know if it was Liberia or something like that. I can't recall the name of it. Um,
Yeah, definitely. The thing was Liberia was
mm,
an area that was set up for African Americans to return to Africa, but it was something that was set up by white people. So it's kind of different from what Marcus Garvey was trying to do. You
mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
really, Liberia itself was kind of like a failure. It ended up in a civil war because the blacks from America was trying to overrule the blacks in Liberia instead of being able to work together. You know what I'm saying? It caused conflict.
Uh, yeah. Oh, it's something. Yeah. The other thing, I was thinking about how are American, I don't know what they calling people nowadays, but
Right.
blacks from America, I know everything changes, but how are blacks from America seen by Africans?
Okay. Well, that's one of the things. Like Africa has more countries than any other continent in the world. Africa is the most diverse continent in the world, but
Mm-hmm.
we generally look at it as one place. You know what I'm saying? So your experience in Nigeria, I could give you a better example. We live in North America, right?
Mm-hmm.
We live in the United States. But if you visit Jamaica, then you visit Haiti, then you visit Dominican Republic, then you visit Canada, you visit Mexico, those places are totally different. The weather is different. The food is different. The
Mm-hmm.
people look different. They have different laws. It's just Africa is probably 10 times more diverse than that. So I would say
Wow.
from my experience, I've been to maybe 20 African countries, and I've been shown nothing but love. I haven't had any bad experiences. I never met an African person that was like, "Oh, you an American? Go back to America. We don't want you here." A
Yeah.
lot of African countries have um, invited African Americans to come to Africa. They offer land, they've offered citizenship, they've offered apologies for slavery and different things like that. And a lot of
Wow.
African Americans have moved to Africa and develop successful businesses and things like that. So Africans in general, they are very welcoming. They're very friendly, very hospitable people. And I think what was it, 2019 was the year of return. I took a group to Ghana. So I don't know if you're familiar with that. It was the 400-year celebration since we left the West Coast of Africa. So a lot of African American entertainers came to Africa. I think Ludacris went, T.I., Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Michael Jai White. It was like a real big celebration. And all of these people, they had a great time. They had a safe time. The majority of African Americans that travel to Africa, they have a safe time, so.
Now check this out. Was there anything that you had in particular that you wanted to speak about that we haven't covered so far? Because I mean, I got tons of questions and things I want to bring up, but the cancel culture is so crazy nowadays. It's hard to talk.
Right,
So,
definitely. I mean, I'm with whatever. You can ask me. I don't know everything, but I'll try
right.
my best to
Yeah, no,
answer.
I'm trying to keep things, light around here. But at the same time, I like to get into some deep discussions too. But like I said, the cancel culture is just so crazy nowadays. And so I
Right.
gotta pussyfoot around, dance around things, when I'm talking and stuff, right? Keep it generic, I guess, like they say. But anyhow, and stuff, are you planning on writing any more books?
I think so. I think sometime in the future. Right now my focus is the Afro set. So like I say, I've completed the most important step. So I finished the book. So I think the next thing will be the documentary, and maybe they might make it into a film one day. It'll be a very interesting film. But what I'm going to write about next, I don't know. Maybe I may write about my travels or my life and my experiences.
Now, here's the thing. Funny you should mention films. Have you heard of Artist Biz magazine and
No, I'm not familiar.
Dust House movies?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay, well that's kind of good. If you want, what I'll do, I'll get information to you about two of them, and how it goes. You can talk to them, check them out, whatever. But they have magazine, and it's particularly for artists, people like yourself, and they help you get out there. And then they also have they're affiliated with a movie house, and I think they're down in Atlanta. So, you seem like an enterprising man from all the videos I see, no
Oh yeah,
doubt.
thank you. I
You
appreciate
know what I'm
that. Yes,
saying?
please send me
Yeah.
that
All right.
information for sure, for sure.
Yeah, they cool people. The artist biz, that's a lady named Nika Gooden. She's in Japan. And they have shows out there, which getting back to the hip hop, independent hip hop artists. So they do shows out there. I think they're affiliated with some club out there. So they have American artists come out there and perform. And they got all kinds of cool things going on. I said, maybe a good fit. I'll pass the information
Yeah.
on to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And like I said, once again, appreciate you so much coming on this podcast and stuff. And putting up with the cable thing.
Oh no, it's all good. I want to thank you for even inviting me on your platform. It's truly an honor. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, the funny thing about it, the next day, had to call the cable man back.
it. Oh
Luckily,
wow.
they were able to get there, in a few hours, so to speak, and stuff. So I thought they had everything situated that day you were on. And I said, wow, good to go. And nope, we weren't. The same problem,
Man.
the buffering and all of that. So they came back and put that thing on it and stuff. So far, fingers crossed, it's all good. And check this out, the music. Do you plan on coming out with some new music, going back on tour, or anything like that?
Oh, okay. As far as the music, I've been doing a lot of writing lately. I done wrote
Hmm.
by about 20, 25 songs in the last month. So I've been definitely writing. I did a couple features this year, international collaborations. People email me the beat and then I'll record it and send it back. I did that as well. I have some educational tours lined up. So I'm supposed to go to Egypt in May. I have a group tour. I'm supposed to go to Cape Verde in October and Ghana in December.
Wow, man. Now, let's talk about the Egyptian tour. I seen that. I was checking out the prices, very reasonable. And everybody out there, make sure you go to my man's website. I think that was on. I saw that in Afronet site. I think that's where that. We had the tours.
Yeah, afroset.net.
Afroset, I'm sorry, yeah, Afroset, yeah. So they had the tours there, and the prices were great and stuff. I said, wow, I kind of even managed to get that and stuff, right? So the thing is, if I'm not mistaken, the tours were say about a week, 7 days, something like that, or I mean, 6, 7 days.
Well, it's flexible. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I try to work with people, whatever their schedule is. But in
Mm.
general, the tours are a week. But you could do 2 weeks. You could do 3 weeks. If you want to
Oh.
visit more than one country, you want to go to Ghana and Egypt, or you want to go to 3 countries, or if you only could stay for 5 days, I'll work with them.
Oh, that's real cool and stuff. Cause I was thinking, now me, I don't know, just cause me, I'm kind of like hyperactive. I would do like, I don't know if you remember Chevy Chase Vacation when they went to go see the Grand Canyon, just kind of peeked at it and took off. I'm kind of like
Mm.
that, like once I
Right,
see
right,
it, like cool, now I'm ready to go and stuff, right?
right,
But
right.
is there something that you can like do for 5 days, a week or something like that?
I mean, it just depends on the person. If you could go for one day, it'll be a life-changing experience. If you could just fly to Egypt, go see the pyramids and turn around and go back home, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the only ancient wonder of the world that still exists. The other six, they either got destroyed or they may not exist at all. So that's a high thing on people's bucket list is to see the pyramids, so
Yeah, definitely. This guy here. Matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up. I was thinking about what was that? I know I'm gonna get this wrong. There were guys over there fighting overseas somewhere, and they had these ancient artifacts over there. And they're like blowing them up. They got bombs going all around these things. I think they would look like some kind of horse or something, giant horses they had carved into stone. And here's these things, thousands of years old. And they're over there having wars, blowing up these things, man. I don't understand that. And I think some of it was done intentionally by one of the sides. You ever hear anything about that? I'm not sure if it was Afghanistan or
I
not.
don't know, man. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised, man. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I just it reminds me of what was that Greek city and stuff? They burnt like Alexandria, I believe it was, and they burnt all the
Hmm.
books and all of that stuff. I can't understand stuff like that. Oh man! Now check this out. You said you're going to be going another tour soon and stuff. How long in advance do people have to set up a tour with you?
It depends. You know what I'm saying? It
Mm-hmm.
depends on the country that they may select. So, for example, if they want to go to Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
we can go next week. We can go tomorrow because according to the United States Department of State and Travel, no vaccine is required. So only thing you would need is a passport, so we can get on the plane and go. And
Oh,
then when we
cool.
get to Egypt, we got to pay $25, and then they'll give us a visa. But if you wanted to go to Ghana, you have to actually apply for a visa. You have to be approved, and then also you would have to get a yellow fever vaccination. So if you want to go to some place like that, it may take I may at least need a month, you know what I'm saying, in advance. Okay, so the educational tours that I provide, they range. You can go for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You can visit multiple countries. Right now, we have about 7 tours available, and we're looking to add more tours. We can go to South Africa, Kenya, Egypt, Ethiopia, Senegal, Cape Verde, or Ghana. I'm planning to add Tanzania, Madagascar. So the tours, they include a round trip flight from a destination city. So usually we fly from the East Coast. We may fly from New York or Boston or Washington D.C., Baltimore, generally those areas. So the tour also includes breakfast, dinner, all of the activities are included. So if we go to Egypt, if we go to the Valley of the Kings, the Valley of the Queens, Hatshepsut's temple, the Temple of Karnak, the Temple of Luxor, the Step Pyramid, the Bent Pyramid, the Red Pyramid, the Pyramids of Giza, the Sphinx, the Cairo Museum, all of these activities are included. When we ride the camels, when we ride the boat down the Nile, all of these things will be included in the trip. It'll also be free time if you want to do something outside of the itinerary. So for each day, we have a set list of activities that we'll do. Flight insurance is included, travel insurance is included. If something happens, if you get sick, if you get COVID, if you get injured, these things will be taken care of. So it
Oh,
was a
wow.
person that was supposed to go with us in January when we went to Egypt. They had COVID, so they wasn't able to go. They tested positive for COVID, so they were able to get a full refund. So
Oh, that's what's up. Now, I'm thinking, you here in America, right? And I'm sure you got some kind of way to do this. Um, excuse me. A tour in another country. How do you, or is it necessary to like keep abreast of various things in countries? I mean, I really don't know how it is, but I know like say if I don't go to another town for say 5 or so years, and I go back, there's been changes. Sometimes I can't even get around good because I don't remember where the road was at, or they changed something. Like, do you run into any issues like that? How do you keep abreast of these various places? Or is it necessary? I don't know.
yeah, it's definitely necessary. It just depends on the place. I mean, I would suggest people before they go to places just do their own individual research. So, like I said, like each year the United Nations they do a ranking of all the countries in the world, and they list them from the most peaceful to the most dangerous. So it's dozens of African countries that are far more peaceful and safer than the United States, as I mentioned before. So that's something that I use as a tool. I'll check to see the crime rates, the safety rates, and the levels because it's always things going on in the world where, like, say, like in America, for example, we had the incident where the people stormed the Capitol. You know what I'm saying? Or
Right.
something, or it may be like a mass shooting or something like that. Those are things that you see on the news, but sometimes you may miss it if it's in another country. So I'll
Right.
check the local news, more recent news, just to make sure it's safe pretty much for the most part. But a lot of
Right.
times I have friends and people that I have networked with in different places. So before I return, I'll reach out to them and let them know, hey, I'm thinking about coming back out there. How are things going out there? And they'll tell you sometimes like, oh, it's not so good right now. Maybe
Ah.
you should wait. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll be like, yeah, come on, everything is cool.
Yeah, it's cool. You know, now as I'm thinking and stuff, I tell you, I get so excited when I get company, so to speak, and get to
Right,
kick it
right.
with people. But I remember a brother came by here, forget which country in Africa he's from. Um, and he asked me, matter of fact, he brought it up. I think he came by to record, and he asked me, he said, "What do you think about Africa?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "How do you think it's like?" I said, "Spears, lions and stuff like that." He
Right.
said, "See," he was talking to the lady he brought with him. He said, "See, that's just it." He said, "I never seen a lion." He said, "I seen a house cat." He said, "But I never seen a lion." And he was telling me
Right, right.
it's not like people think or like on TV. And I think he said something like that. It's not quite like the way we've been taught here in America because it's what I think about. I think huts, grass skirts. You see what I'm saying? And what I'm saying, primitive. And it's not
Oh
quite
yeah.
like that, or
Oh
like that
yeah,
at all.
definitely. Right, right. I mean, they just highlight certain things, you know what I'm saying? So I say this. Africa has the most beautiful women, but they will never show that. I mean, if you see the women in Madagascar, you see the women in Ethiopia, you see the women in Cape Verde, you're gonna be blown away. You know what I'm saying? They have Benzes and BMWs and Bentleys. You see these cars in Africa. They got malls that look way better than the malls that we have. They got new advanced technology. They have internet, but it depends on where you go. You know what I'm saying? They have rural areas as well. They still have tribes. Like I said, Africa is the most diverse continent in the world. They have thousands of tribes, thousands of languages. In Ethiopia is one country, and they have almost 80 different ethnic groups. So, that's
Wow.
different music, different culture, different religion, different language, different, you know, things like that, different traditions.
Yeah, and hearing you say that and knowing it to an extent, it's still hard for me to wrap my mind around how diverse Africa, the continent of Africa really is.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really difficult, I think, for a person from over here to really understand that. Maybe for anybody and stuff, because I do a lot of traveling, so to speak, on maps and globes, you know, and
Hmm.
I look at the proximity countries, and then like you look at I look at the pictures and I see the inhabitants who stay there, and they could be markedly different looking. You have perhaps a fair skin type and maybe dark skin, different texture hair, just like really huge differences, in places relatively close. Um,
Oh yeah, definitely. Like South Africa, they have 11 official languages. You know what I'm saying? Most places, you go to France, it's French. You go to England, it's English. You go to China, it's Mandarin Chinese or whatever. Japanese, Japan, you know what I'm saying? The language is usually like one, maybe two. America, our language is English. You have a lot of Spanish speakers, but
right.
that's about it.
And check this out. Now, when you go there, I know you said you're not fluent, but you do speak what is it, passable, I guess they call it, but you do speak few languages. Now, I'm saying over there, are you using a mishmash, like pidgin, some type of pidgin language, like, a little bit of English, a little bit of French, a little bit of African? What type of language you speak when you're over there with people?
Well, right now I only know like a little bit of English. Well, I know English, but I know a little
Yeah.
bit of Spanish, a little Portuguese, a little French. So, like I say, most Africans they speak three or four languages. You know what I'm saying? So, I never been anywhere where I couldn't find anybody to understand what I was saying. You know what I'm saying? And they very friendly people, so they're willing to help you. So,
Right.
like I say, if you may go to Senegal and their language may be French, but the average person gonna know three or four different languages. So you asking them for basic directions or basic assistance, you usually be okay. I never been in Africa stranded and it was 1,000 people around me and no one could
Right.
speak English. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We're all becoming what they call it more homogenized, I believe, and stuff. Because you said they have a lot of modern things over there. You know I don't think from what I'm hearing, I think when people go on this trip, and perhaps myself, I don't think it's going to be too much of a culture shock. Especially when you have all the same amenities, so to speak, and stuff. So yeah, that's a good thing. Um, are there places that you go to that are say not as modern? Do you have any tours, perhaps like villages, more or less not primitive, but you know what I'm saying, more stereotypical, so to speak. Um,
yeah, definitely. We
mhm,
definitely get a chance to go see some of the villages. It just depends on the country. So, people may be looking forward to different things. So even like with Egypt, we go to the modern cities like Cairo, Luxor, but then we get a chance to go to Aswan and places like that. We get to go to the Nubian villages and see how they live, things like that. Or even in Ghana, we go to the Ashanti region. We learn how they make kente cloth and adinkra print and different things like that. So I try to mix it up.
mhm. Now, for the American blacks, one of the concerns I had, I'm gonna get a little too social, political and stuff, but one of the things I noticed about I say us, um, a culture. It seemed like we don't have our own thing over here. It's in like everything else, like all the holidays, and just seemed like everything else is centered around everyone else, and it seemed like we don't like have our own thing. I know they tried Kwanzaa,
Hmm.
as far I don't really see many people getting into it. Maybe it's something you gotta build up to. And the other one that personal favorite of mine was Juneteenth. Or is Juneteenth. I like
Hmm.
that one. Because, not that I'm against this country here and stuff, grateful, to be here. It's that it's just that what always stuck with me is like, how you gonna celebrate the 4th of July when people were still locked up? I mean, that just never situated. It never sat well with me. So when I learned about Juneteenth, and this was when I was living in Florida, I was at this it's a town, it's all black town, and that's where I first learned about the Juneteenth celebration, and I think it's one of the first places that started celebrating it and stuff. So it's like a big deal down there, and I can't think of the town right now. But when I heard about Juneteenth, found out what it was about, I said, I like this. this is a good thing. Like I said, it's it's not putting anybody else down or saying we don't like our country and stuff. But I mean, it just makes sense to me. I can't really see how can I celebrate something when my people were locked up.
Definitely.
It's like a slap in the face to me and stuff. I know people. I'll probably get a lot of pushback on this and stuff, but it's just the way I feel about it. It's real. I never thought that was right. So anyway, having something like Juneteenth, having our own thing, so to speak, I think that's a cool thing. And I guess anybody can celebrate Juneteenth. I guess you have to be a person of color. Anybody could celebrate that if they thought slavery was a bad thing and they happy that that ended. Yeah, anybody can get behind that celebration, I believe and stuff.
Definitely.
Oh, let me get off my soapbox now and stuff.
No, no, it's all good.
Yeah, there's many concerns and stuff I have about blacks here and going to Africa, and I think it should happen more, have more of a connection because I don't really see that. I hear people that are fond of saying here in America, like say if somebody said, hey, you should go back to Africa, and the person like, I know nothing about Africa, never been there, don't know anybody from there, stuff. And to me, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I think people should. I mean, like I said, you don't have to go, visit, live, and all of that. I'm just saying, I see a lot of people they put all the stuff in their homes. I'm not saying a person has to go that far, but I think people should know, more about Africa and the connection and stuff. And I think it's a good thing that you do here, by getting people, to go over there and check out Africa and stuff. Matter of fact, with your customers or the people that you take on these tours, what do you find, like, as far as race concerned? Would you say you have a lot of blacks or is it mostly whites, fifty-fifty? Like, how many blacks are actually going to check out Africa?
Well, the pretty much all of my customers have been black, but it's something for everybody because
Right, right,
Africans
right.
have influenced the world. We built America, but we built Brazil, we built Mexico, we built Europe, we built Asia, we built India. You know what I'm saying? And it's historical, you know what I'm saying, evidence of that. So, no matter where you've come from in the world, you know what I'm saying, you should look to the motherland.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I noticed that when talk to people like I don't know if you follow him maybe I think he said no. But there's one guy, Conor McGregor, he from Ireland and he has a lot of Irish people that come here. No Irish people and they go visit Ireland and stuff. They have a connection, his family, they know each other. Same thing with the Italian folks I know. They take trips to Italy and stuff. They have a connection. Poland, you know how it goes. But
Hmm.
black Americans, it's like they don't really have anything like that. And
Right.
that's why I like these tours that you do. One of the reasons and stuff, and I think it's really good for blacks to be able to go over there and check out Africa and to see how it is for themselves. And matter of fact, I'm glad I kind of said that. You seem like, because you are, a person who's actually been overseas. Because your answers aren't the stereotypical answers I get from people, when they talk
Right.
about overseas. I'll say, well, is it like that? And you're quick to point out, hey, this is a diverse land with a whole bunch of different types of people. So it really depends where you go, and it depends on your experience. But a lot of people, they don't do that. They generalize. You know what I'm saying? And I could tell and stuff that it seemed like an experienced person, that knows about that diversity, and you're quick to point that out. I like that.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. But I've been in a different country, so I can make a comparison. I've been to dozens of Asian countries. I've been all across Europe, South America as well. So,
Ooh, speaking of Asian countries, have you seen many Asians in Africa? I heard
um, I wouldn't say I've seen a lot of them. There
mm-hmm,
are Asian people there. You see white people, you see Asian. It depends on the country, though. Some
mm-hmm.
more than others.
Right. I hear one of the countries I think is China. Here they're investing heavily in Africa now and stuff. Yeah. So I figured with the investment, you probably see a lot of people there, perhaps looking after their investment and stuff. And
It's not like
mhm.
it's you see more Asian people in America. Like, cause I was looking it up. People they do say that they be like, oh, the Asians or the Chinese is taking over Africa, but I think I think the Chinese own like 30 million acres of American land, so they investing heavily here
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So shit, you gonna see way more. It's about 100 Chinatowns here. So
Yeah, you know it. Matter of fact, I seen a map and I don't recall all the numbers, but it was basically showing the different countries, by color. They were showing the different countries and how they influence various parts of Africa, stuff like
hmm
that. And when you had mentioned ages, I recall reading something about how they were building hospitals and power plants and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. I mean, it's cool. Anybody can help out. That's fantastic. And I just wondered, did you see any evidence of that while you was there?
it's definitely a lot of construction, a lot of building, but a lot of times you don't know really who's behind it. Like you say, unless you do the research, you see a nice mall or a nice building, it could be a foreign investor or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people kind of take it out of context because that's the global phenomenon. That's not just Africa. Like you say, if I go to Ghana,
Uh-huh.
I didn't everybody I seen was black. I didn't see anybody that wasn't black. But that don't mean that it's not people there. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
you
So
know,
it's
I don't
just
like harp on Africa, but I do like to talk about things like this.
oh yeah,
The
no,
blood,
I said I appreciate
the blood diamonds.
hmm
See, here's the thing. Like when I learned about that and all these other things that's going on, you got people living in a certain land, generation to generation, perhaps thousands of years or whatever, and there's some kind of mineral or something valuable right where they live. They're in poverty. Then somebody else somewhere owns all of that, the whole mountain. And I could never wrap my mind around how does something like that go on, start and then continue, to this day. And then these people, the African is filled with all kinds of resources. And it seems like the people there should be like super wealthy. And do you see this like changing for people?
well again, that would depend on the country. So it's almost 60 different countries in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all ruled by foreign investors. So it would
Mm-hmm.
just depend, you know what I'm saying? So I just would say the best thing is for people to kind of do their research on specific countries, and if they have the opportunity, that they should visit because it's a great experience. And like if you go to Ethiopia, you can fly on a black-owned airline. You see black flight attendants. The pilot is black. When you land in Ethiopia, the airport may be named after somebody that's black. The baggage handlers are black. You go to the ATM, you take out the money. The people on the money is black. The taxi driver is black. The president, the governor, the mayor, the firemen, the police, they're all black people. And that's a country that's still building and growing, economically. And that's just one example, that I can give.
Mm-hmm. That's
But
that's a positive thing. I
mhm.
think blacks need to see more. Don't have at least especially when I was coming up, wasn't like a lot of positive role models. Time I grew up in, I think Superfly and the Mac. These were the guys we looked up to and stuff.
Right.
Not very good role models. And then I didn't really see myself anywhere, like on TV, anything. I think the only thing we had at the time was a black lady. She was a nurse called Julia, and I think
Mhm.
that then Bill Cosby came later on I Spy or something. But other than that, and then when I turn on TV, I look at the news. I see the people on TV. I go to the stores. I see the police and doctors, and they don't look like me, so to speak. So I think it's a good thing for people to grow up in a place where you see folks doing all the important jobs and got all these positions and stuff, and they look like you. I think that helps out, tremendously. Personal self-esteem, psyche, all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it was asking me a question.
Chatting, so speaking.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, no, I'm
Oh yeah.
listening, right. I'm listening to you. No, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely it's important. I mean, they've been talking about this for years, even like with the Black Barbie doll experiment. You know what I'm saying? You have to see a
Yeah.
representation of yourself. You could watch it. You could watch the Black Barbie doll experiment from the 1950s, and you could watch the Black Barbie doll experiment today, and you will see the black child. And they'll say which doll is the mean doll? They'll pick the black one. Which doll is the ugly doll? They'll pick the black one. Which doll is the smart doll? They'll pick the white one. Which doll is the pretty doll? They'll pick the white one. Which doll looks like you? And then they confronted with this conflict, like, oh
Oh.
shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a cruel trick, but man, it drives home the point. You know, I remember when I first saw that. Um, I wasn't too surprised because of the good hair, bad hair thing. I was already familiar with that, so I kind of knew how people looked at themselves, so to speak. Man, oh man. But you know what? I'm just gonna turn this towards something more positive and stuff, because
Hmm.
I start feeling some kind of way when I think about these things and stuff in the
Right,
light of
right.
the news and but let's see. So we went over music, went over books, and we went over tours. Let me see. What else you got going on?
Right, right. That's about it, man. Like I say, I try to give back and do my community
Mhm.
work and stuff like that. Um, that's it, really, pretty much.
No, but shoot, that's enough and stuff, right? And
Hmm.
as customary, like to give our guests what they call final word. So anything that's on your mind, thing you want to share, something perhaps you think people need to know or need to hear in time and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. I think we covered pretty much everything, but I just want to thank you. I truly appreciate you for allowing me to come on your platform.
Welcome.
If anybody have any questions about travel or the book or my music or need any additional information, they could check out my website, afroset.net, AFROSET.net. And I'm on social media. I have videos on YouTube. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and my social handle is Camp Cleveland, CAMP Cleveland.
Which cool, yeah. And once again, thank you for doing the podcast. And before I forget again, how did you get the name Camp Cleveland?
Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of people know me as Camp Cleveland. Uh, Cleveland is where I'm from, so camp is just like team or crew or posse or that's like it's a music related thing. So a lot of people just know me by that name on social media. But Tah-Yay Oo-Who-Roo, that's my pseudonym for my music and for my books and my documentaries and different things like that. That's an African name that I picked for myself. So I don't know if I told you this already, but
Hmm.
Tah-Yay, that's a Ethiopian word. They speak the language called Amharic, and it means to see something, to have a vision. And Uhuru, that's a Swahili word. They speak Swahili in Kenya and Tanzania, and Uhuru means freedom. So my name means he who has seen freedom.
That's what's up. Thank you for sharing, because I was definitely curious about that. And then last time we chatted and stuff, didn't mention it, but probably would have got around to it. Then it had the cable thing going on and stuff.
Right, right,
Yeah.
definitely.
So anyhow, Camp Cleveland, once again, thank you so much. If you don't mind, hold on. We want to say goodbye to everybody out there. All right. Hey, everybody. Once again, another YanBar episode completed. As always, we thank you for joining us, and we like to remind you to check out our previous YanBar podcast guests, and to always remember that the YanBar Podcast is the place where you make it happen. Once again, my name is Bryan Barcelo of Camp Cleveland. Peace. Yeah.